welcome to Half-Ass Gamers.
Let's get into it.
Let's fucking welcome to Half-Ass Gamers. How you doing, bro? How's things going?
My name's Nick, and this is Sean, and we are your hosts. Let's go.
If you didn't already know that, you should go back and listen to all the other episodes.
Yeah, if it's your first time tuning in, welcome. If it's not, welcome back.
Yeah.
As I was just saying, I'm eating gelato, so I've got a few more mouthfuls, but that's fine. I don't think you guys can hear.
No?
I'm going to continue eating gelato.
I mean, hey,
So-
man, it's fine. It's fine.
And it's a good way to start a podcast. If you guys want to, grab some ice cream, sit down, relax, go for a walk, all the fun stuff that you do while listening to podcasts. But we're going to talk about video games
And movies. And TV.
Mhm. Yeah. I actually need to chat about TV. We can have
Yeah.
a good discussion. I'm all up to date, so
Ooh, hell yeah.
so
All right. Well, let's start with what have you played this week? So, Nick, knowing that you're always quite busy, what have you played this week?
I've been playing a little bit of Escape from Tarkov again.
Yeah.
Just grinding that out with some of the boys. It's actually been a lot of fun. Haven't been taking it too seriously. Like we've always said, if you know Escape from Tarkov, that game can be pretty stressful. But no, it's been actually a lot of fun. We've had some pretty decent raids. A lot of my mates are a lot higher geared, so it's kind of cool. I just go along for the run sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I did recently just start back on my Switch a little bit of Pokemon. I think I've got Violet. So yeah, new Pokemon game. Updated. Well, I don't think there was an update. I heard there was supposed to be an update. That's why I got back into that, but I didn't see an update. It's weird with
it
my
was
Switch.
supposed to be to fix a lot of the major problems it had.
Yeah. And I think that's it. Have I played anything else? Let me check my Steam because it'll tell me if I've launched up. I know I played Rust, but I think I talked about that last week. This week I've been pretty social actually because we've been out for dinner. I've been out doing stuff, zipping around the place. Actually, I played something last night with some of the other good mates, and it kind of follows on to what you sent me in Messenger.
Yep.
About We Were Here.
Yeah.
But it actually is so funny. It was Roblox. Downloaded the free Roblox launcher and was doing like scary Roblox maps with the boys.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking sick. Actually pretty fucking sick. So
Hell yeah.
but that's pretty much it. I feel like I need to like pick a game, try and play it, and then be able to actually like have a decent conversation with you guys about like what I've been playing.
Yeah, I mean, again, you've been very busy, pretty much non-stop working and doing things, so it's fine, man. It's fine.
Yeah, and when we get home, and if I don't game casually and I'm out, when I get home at like 10:30, 11, and it's just bedtime. So, because yeah, I wanted to jump back into Sekiro.
Oh yeah,
I want to get into that and do like a proper playthrough, not a speed run playthrough.
yeah. That's one that I've been meaning to actually play again because it's been so long.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
And Elden Ring. But
Yeah.
Apart from that, I was just checking. I had done nothing really else.
Nice.
That's about it.
No.
What have you
that's
been
good.
playing? You always like got cool games to talk about. I fucking love hearing about what you've been
Bro, so I finished Resident Evil 7. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I think I did. Finished Resident Evil 7. fucking phenomenal game. Really,
Yeah.
really good.
That game's fucking terrifying, bro.
Dude,
Holy.
finish the
I forget
DLC
how scary
too,
that game
everything.
is.
It's
Oh,
so
because the
good, man.
DLC is like kind of snuff films, aren't they? They call them.
No, so there's banned footage.
Yeah, that's like
Then
snuff films. They're just trying to be snuff films.
Yeah, then there's Not a Hero, which is the Chris Redfield one, which was actually not bad. It was pretty good. Very action orientated, less horror. And then there was End of Zoe, I think it is, which is continuation of the main story to finish off one of the other characters, because there's a choice in that game where you can pick to cure the girl that's been helping you, which is the daughter of what's his face, the dude. God damn it, I just finished a game and I don't even remember the name of the characters. But yeah, it's the daughter of the father who's like trying to constantly kill you and chase you around the house and shit, right?
Yeah.
Or you can cure your girlfriend who went there and blah, blah, blah. The game itself is really good. It is one of the better horror games up until a certain point, and then it stops being scary and just becomes item management action. Because it's like really good still, but it's not scary once you start getting some stronger guns and a lot of ammo, and fighting enemies becomes kind of trivial. Yeah, it's great though. Don't get me wrong. Like, I still really enjoyed it the whole way through. Start to finish took me 8 hours.
Okay.
So, decent bit of playtime. And yeah, overall, fantastic game. Really, really loved it. Really, really good. I highly recommend it to anyone, especially if you want like a horror game that's made by a larger company with a lot of production value behind it. It is very, very good. I played a game of Hunt.
Okay. Yeah.
I suck ass at that game when I'm not playing with friends.
It's a hard game, dude. It's a hard game.
Yeah.
Is Resident Evil on sale still? It is. Resident Evil 7 on sale.
Yeah, you can pick it up on sale at the moment. It's on Steam, I think, on sale, as well as a few other game websites where I bought a code. I think it was Instant Gaming.
Yeah.
Which Instant Gaming sponsor us, like, no joke.
We need that.
We use the shit out of your service, and we will promote
way too much
to no end, because it's genuinely a service that we believe in and
I fucking love Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is insane,
dude. It's come in handy so much, especially with a game that I'll talk about in a second.
When I look at my orders, you know how they have like a level thing? I've been a member since Jan 6, 2020. I'm level 63. How do you like check your profile? It's funny as fuck. It tells you sometimes like what you've saved and everything. Total saved $2,258.53.
That's really good.
I have 4 games wish list, and overall I bought 70 games through Instant Gaming.
No,
it's crazy.
That's what I'm saying, man. I use the service just as much as you, honestly, at this point. But
it's like good games as well. You get them all through proper keys. They have really great support. I've had stuff refunded before. It's so good.
Yeah, man.
And I picked up some pretty big games, other smaller games.
Yeah.
Anything that you're kind of sitting on the fence about. So, and from what we know, like ethically goes pretty well to the devs, from what I've heard. So
I've heard it's a lot of people believe in it, trust it. I've only been a member since July 12th, 2020. I'm only level 22, but I've also saved $500.
That's crazy.
That's insane. So after Hunt, I jumped into Destiny for a little bit, and I bought the Witch Queen and Beyond Light through Instant Gaming as well as expansion codes. Because they were on great sale, and I figured why not pick it up still. But I might even just chuck a referral link. Screw it in the bio for this video. But Destiny 2, unfortunately, like I don't want to sound like a negative person, like everyone that's on Twitter talking shit about it, but it needs to be said in a certain extent. In the last probably 3 weeks, I've only played maybe 2-3 hours total.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's coming from someone who, before I started, like before, I'd say December last year, it was the only game I played, and I probably put like another 200-300 hours into it. I very much believe the game is at a very bad point. It's having engine problems. It's having server problems.
Really?
It's I heard an example used, which is Destiny is held together with duct tape, and the duct tape is failing, and it's kind of genuinely at that point. And I don't want to sound like a negative person always talking shit about the game, because it is a game I very much love and I want it to go well, but there's just been so many problems with it that it's honestly at a point where I just don't.
Makes it hard to support that game.
Yeah. Like I've canceled my pre-order for the next one for Lightfall.
Yeah. Wow.
Because they've even said straight up, like, the game is not made to have this much content in it. Like, the engine it runs on, all the coding behind it is not made to have this much stuff.
It's the hardest thing with live service games.
Yeah. Like, eventually it hits a point where it needs a proper update, a proper refresh, a proper, almost restart. And that's what I was saying to a friend. Instead of releasing Lightfall as DLC, they should have just made it Destiny 3. Like, I understand a lot of people don't want to go start again, start fresh, whatever. But realistically, it's getting to a point where it's not feasible for the game to continue the route that it's going without it having worse and worse problems.
Yeah.
And I don't
think it's a negative thing sometimes relaunching a game. Like, look what it did to Overwatch 2. Like,
exactly.
It's one of those ones where people will still have that nostalgia. People will probably play the game until the servers go down. But, like, Overwatch 2 is a hard example because I feel like they did it well, but also, like, there's a lot of, like, negative with that as well.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be every single game. Like, it's pretty much the same of Overwatch. They probably didn't need to relaunch it, but it's that whole thing. Instead of just trying to add on to Overwatch and rebuild it from that, they're just like, fuck, we're relaunching another game.
Yeah.
It's free to play, same thing, everything like that. But it's like, you just can start fresh. But sometimes with that, you can get character progression to come across. Like, it might be brand new engine or brand new world and easy to run, like a Destiny 3, but you could probably still bring your character across.
Yeah, I mean, they did with Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, At first, everyone was afraid that we wouldn't have that, and they were saying we might not be able to do it. And then when I started playing Destiny 2, it's like, hey, here's your character from Destiny 1. Do you want to continue?
Yeah.
And if you choose yes, it gives you all the, like, memories from when you were playing the game.
That's cool.
And, like, I know it would be good, but it's also because they're in... I think of their 10-year plan, they're in, 3 years from the end of it?
Yeah.
So I understand, obviously, they don't want to just start from start anew. But it is a better option than trying to put Band-Aids over the giant cracks that are showing,
Well, how long has it been live service for?
It's been live service for...
Because I'm going to try and compare it to, like, Elder Scrolls. Because that's been a live service game for a very, very long time. And they've been really decent at upgrading it and getting performance kind of better. I don't know if it's just how Bethesda run with their engines or how they do it, but...
It has been live service since 2017.
Yeah, okay. So a while.
Yeah. That's 6 years now. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's hitting a point where they rather need to go back to doing what they said they wouldn't do in sunset things, which no one likes because, you're losing content, especially that you pay for. But it's rather that or relaunch the game. I still keep, support for Destiny 2 open if you want to play the old stuff or whatever it is. But I mean, it's just not like, it's unfortunately just not worth it right now. Like, it's yeah, it's sad. That's all I can really say. It's just it's really sad.
I just don't get, like, it's hard with those games, because I understand it's like a loot and shoot, so you want to grind like exotic or legendary weapons.
Yeah.
And then when new DLC content come out, you can do that. But the whole point of like having old content, unless they're running like dailies or there's like certain quests, there's not too much need to try and rerun those stuff if you've been playing the game long term, correct?
Yeah. Like, so here was my argument on both sides of it, right? Exactly what you just said. Realistically, how often would you be going back to play old stuff?
Yeah.
Like, yes, Beyond Light was great. Yes, Red War was great. Everything between Red War and not Beyond Light, Forsaken.
Yeah.
Everything between Red War, which is the very, very first one, and Forsaken, most people forgot about. Genuinely, most people don't remember that stuff. I remember fractions of it, but I don't remember much of it. I remembered more on like Mars, which I think was like the second or third DLC. But until Forsaken, nothing. And then if you want to keep Forsaken, fair enough. Forsaken was a great
Forsaken was like
story.
One of the biggest ones that they did.
Everything after Forsaken was just seasonal content. And then they went into Beyond Light, which was whereabouts I came back in. And again, seasonal content. And then there was Witch Queen, which again, seasonal content. And they delete the seasons at the end of that DLC's life cycle, which is usually a year, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's so many weapons that are in the game still that came from earlier content that they have to get rid of, but they can't get rid of, because getting rid of it means that one person who has it in their vault somewhere will lose it. And they can't do that because that becomes an unfair thing. Like, it starts removing. So then you keep that stuff in. So then you try to refresh it and bring it back in like later things. But then eventually you hit a point where it's like a stale wall where it's like, cool, new DLC came out or like new season started. Why am I getting the same gun I got from like 3 years ago?
Yeah.
But that's unfortunately where it's at now. And they're trying to add new things, but every time they add new things, it's just adding to the amount of data. So in the end, it's just like a lose-lose situation right now. And unfortunately, a lot of the fan base has started kind of falling off because like the game is a buggy mess in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like there's been server problems, there's been API issues, there's been game-breaking bugs of late. Like people lost characters, like they log in and then the character just disappears, right? And then Bungie has to manually go in and re-roll things. And recently they said that they're rolling back people's accounts.
That's
because like this certain things have happened that's just ruined how the game is functioning, and it's not functioning properly. So it's a sad thing, but like maybe it's just time to hang up, the game and just move forward with another one. Like release the thing and just charge the price that it'll be for the DLC. That's basically what it already is, because you're paying like $100 for an expansion.
That's crazy.
It's the same price as just launching a new game. Just launch the game. Like it's fine. Lightfall in Australia is $74.95 for the standard.
So expensive,
right? And then Lightfall with the annual pass, which gives you all the seasonal content, is $150. That's the same price as a brand new game. So just making it a brand new game wouldn't be a bad option. And I think a lot of the fan base doesn't want that because they get so comfortable with Destiny 2, and I understand it. But again, it's hit a point where it's getting dangerous for Bungie to keep the game supported when it's quite literally falling apart and possibly going to cost them more money in the long run.
Well, if it's been going on, like I remember playing Shadowkeep.
Yeah.
that is like what? That's 2019 now. That's wild.
Yeah.
Was it Shadowkeep or was it Forsaken? I can't remember. There was one of the ones that I played. But before
Shadowkeep
that, there was
came
like
after Forsaken. That was the one that's all the Hive stuff with like the Scarlet Keep and shit.
Yeah, I just remember the one where it was like the new place and you had the chick like.
That's Forsaken. The Dreaming City
Forsaken.
and all that shit.
Yeah. So I played Forsaken, and before that, there was 3 DLCs.
Yeah.
That I think have all been vaulted.
Yep.
Now, and it's just you start at Forsaken. That's wild because like I could probably like jump on now, play through Forsaken because I pretty much got to that, and then play through it all and have like quite an enjoyable time. But it's like they've vaulted so much content already. And it's like if they need to keep vaulting content to try and make the game playable, it's always going to make people upset. But it's like if that's what they need to do, that's kind of what they need to do.
Yeah.
And then they may just like I just feel like with live service, it's so hard because it's like how much are you paying for? I just had it open. How much are we paying for like Forsaken DLC?
Well, Forsaken can't be bought anymore. It's
just free. It's like
Forsaken's been vaulted as well. That was the last one to get vaulted. Yeah, you can still buy the weapons from it, I'm pretty sure. But like, yeah, they have the Forsaken pack, which comes with it's just gear.
So now it starts at Shadowkeep.
Yeah.
And then the Forsaken cap.
Yep.
Pack. So Shadowkeep, and that's $36. Wow. So you have to start at Shadowkeep if you want to start playing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. Okay, interesting.
It's a really sad thing because like that was one of the better stories, a very important one too. But it's just that thing of like, realistically, they just have to kind of give it up and move forward. Like it's sad, but it really is.
Just reading a Steam review as I was clicking through DLC because it's mostly negative, and it's like everyone said how Bungie was held back by Activision and whatnot. No, Bungie's a AAA studio and are both too lazy and too greedy. Ooh, is that correct? Is that a correctish statement?
I'm not going to say yes or no because genuinely Activision had their fingers a lot in it. Yeah. But I won't lie and say yes, they are. Because again,
$60 for DLC is kind of crazy, man.
And like Lightfall is the price of a brand new game. Like it's $5 off a brand new game.
What the fuck did I just read? Great game, but if you buy this and want to run the Witch Cream dungeons, you'll need to buy the dungeon key.
Yeah.
$20 or the deluxe edition $80.
Yep.
Seeing that you already pay $40 for the DLC and another $10 each season if you do that. So you have to buy.
Yep. Which is where the problem lies. So the dungeon key is for the 30th anniversary dungeon.
Okay.
Right. So yes, you can argue that it's separate content, but it's $50 for the 30th anniversary pack, which is the only way you can get the Galahorn. Right.
Yeah.
Or if you were lucky, Epic had it for free for a little bit, but or you buy the dungeon key, which the dungeon key is, I think, $25, but you don't get certain other content. So in the end, it's this fucking shit show of just shenanigans, and I won't lie, there is greed there. There is a lot, but I understand it. You know, you want to keep the production going. You want to keep content coming. You need to pay your employees. You need to charge a certain amount. There's just a certain point where that amount starts adding up to kind of a ridiculous sum when you're also vaulting content. And that was always my biggest problem was I bought every single DLC that has ever come out for the entirety of Destiny. Right, from Destiny 1 till now, I've bought every single one except Lightfall.
Yep.
I even pre-ordered and got the anniversary edition for Witch Queen and Lightfall, and I've cancelled Lightfall, but I had that for Witch Queen. And even I'm saying that's kind of fucked. Like I've spent $1,000 on this game plus any other money I've put into their skin store.
That's
right. And like I've bought the game 10 times over. But
Well, that's the thing that I feel so weird about. Like, Destiny 1 was Destiny 1 live service? Or not really?
no,
To a point it was, or no?
it
Like,
was online, but it wasn't full blown live service.
yeah, okay.
At least in my opinion. Like, there were open areas where you had people in it, but like, I don't know. It was a lot more quiet.
Because they did a
compared to
couple of
Destiny
different
2.
expansions and stuff like that, but it wasn't over the top, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't seasonal content.
Yeah.
All right,
Because the hardest thing is, like, I kind of enjoy live service games, but also I don't. It's such a hard sell sometimes. And the looter shooter model as well, to me, just sometimes is like a hard one as well. Because like the biggest thing for me is like, if I'm playing like an ideal multiplayer game, I love stuff where you can grind for your character to look cooler. So like kid, you make your character look cooler. I understand.
Sorry.
I understand. No, it's all good. I understand like grinding for weapons. Like I had friends that were playing Destiny 2 and you could grind for certain exotic weapons that were like really good for killing certain bosses and helping, but then were really good in PvP. So there was different metas with how it worked. So some would be like, you could go and run this dungeon and get a fucking great pistol that would one-shot everyone in PvP, and then you're destroying in PvP and doing all this type of stuff because the quests will... And then you go get this gun that's great for killing this boss really quickly, and that helps you. And that's kind of cool, but I just find it's like... It gets to a point where it's just like, to me, that's not worth playing.
Yeah.
Like... It's cool and all, but it's just like...
Always chasing the meta.
Yeah, it's just like I'd much rather just jump in, have a game where you can mess around with some mates, upgrade your character, get some cool stuff that's either going to make your character look cooler, get you some stuff. But it's just like, I don't understand constantly rerunning dungeons to get like a certain broken meta weapon.
Yeah.
Like, unless it's going to like give me way too much of an advantage that it's like kind of unfair and it's like cheating, then it's like, yeah, like I get why people want that. But also it's just like, if I can just play the game, have fun, do stuff like that, then it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I find it weird with that type of stuff.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I was feeling the same thing. For a long time, I was chasing the meta because that's what it was. You're just chasing the meta. There's always... a new update that comes out, and all of a sudden this one specific gun is fucking top tier with this specific role. So then you're grinding to get that weapon, and then you'll get it, and then it'll change, and blah blah blah. Right?
Yeah.
And it does. It gets really, really old, but
you're just like tiring.
Yeah, and that's why like I got burnt out on it, because you run the same thing for the 9 millionth time. It, gets old kind of fast.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it. But there is something special about that game. And I can't lie, I don't know why. I really love it. I can't put my finger on it. I can't say why. I just really love that game. And it's the same with like, to a lesser extent, but to a similar Warframe, where it is that kind of game that I've put so much time into. And I mean, it's great, but it's got problems, and both of them do, because one is more grindy in the looter shooter, and the other one's grindy in the sense of hoping that you'll get RNG that the thing will drop, right? Because in Destiny, you're guaranteed drops, not necessarily that roll, but at least you'll get the drop. But in Warframe, it's just a grind, and you got to hope RNG gives you the drop. But there's a chance that you fucking won't get it at all.
Yeah.
There's a mission that I've ran in Warframe recently, probably 36 times.
Yeah.
And have not gotten any of the loot I've been trying to get from it.
See,
while in Destiny, I could run a mission or Nightfall or not Destiny, a dungeon, or run the raid with some friends, and there's a pretty good chance I'll get the gun that I'm wanting to get, or the gear that I'm trying to get. Even if it's not like a god roll, it's still going to drop. But
it's like the biggest thing with those types of games is like, another one that was kind of cool. Oh no, that doesn't really count. But yeah, like I get that. Like I would want to play a game where I'm like, oh, I was thinking like Wildlands. Like, when you play through Wildlands campaign, because you can do that all multiplayer,
Yeah.
And then like certain guys you're going to kill, you're going to get like certain weapons.
Mm.
You can go around the map. You've got these certain targets that's going to give you certain stuff. And you can like deck out your customer to try and be as like sick as possible. But it's just like all the content's there. Like I know you could put probably 100 hours into that game if you really wanted to and go full crazy, but you don't need to, and it doesn't have that live service ability.
Yeah.
If they did a game like that did, I feel like it would be so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
And it's just like I was trying to like think of a game where I'm like, where could it like work where that there's like certain raids. Because I know COD brought out their own raid and stuff like that. Like there's certain raids or certain areas where you can make like a game live service and it could work. So yeah, it's so hard, man.
Yeah,
kind of shit that Destiny's in that state.
Yeah.
I was gonna get excited. I was looking at potentially picking up Lightfall.
Yeah, so. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm by no means I'm telling other people don't do it, don't get it, don't support them, because I very much believe that the game is still great if that's the type of game you enjoy. Especially for the aesthetic of Lightfall, it looks great.
It looks so cool.
It's just again, like in the current state that it is, I don't feel that I can continue to support it yet.
But that's the biggest thing. I feel like I've dropped off heaps on hype culture for games. And it's now one of those ones where I literally don't mind waiting like a week, 2 weeks until a game's released and seeing multiple different people's reviews and like getting like a good sense of the game itself and seeing if something that's I'm going to be worth playing instead of just buying it straight away. Like I used to be like, I'm pre-ordering this game. I'll have it day one. I'll play it. I want to be like the first to play it, make up my own opinion and stuff. That's still good to do on certain games, but also I don't care to be like, hey, is this game worth dropping $80? Should I wait, have a little checkout, see if it's worth my time and money? Like, yeah. And I feel like, it's like it's a massive thing that gamers need to start doing a bit more. I feel like hype culture is becoming so big and people just like, fuck yeah, I'm going to get this. I don't care. Like, throw money at it. And then it comes out and you're like, wow, this is fucking shit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But that's kind of the state of a lot of games at the moment because...
Yeah.
Like, what was it? Callisto Protocol looks fucking amazing, and then apparently it came out
sick.
And it's very mediocre, and it's
Forspoken
like,
as well.
Yeah,
it was like PlayStation 5 exclusive, looking really, really cool. Had like really flashy trailers. Came out, and it's just like very mediocre. Like
very lukewarm reviews in total, and it's at that state where it's like everyone's trying to sell you based on a look. And a feel and a vibe, but not on the actual game in its final state.
I'm so excited for gaming in 2023 because of this, and I feel like it's going to be one of our biggest and most pivotal years. And I'm glad we got the podcast to run through it because we have Unreal Engine 5 that's like coming out.
Yeah.
That is going to be one of the biggest selling. We've got these new generations of graphics card. We've got NVIDIA partnering with companies going, we've got DLX 2.7896 coming out with RTX version 700. Like, we're going to be hearing all this stuff coming through. Like, it's going to be like, this is like proper next gen, running on Unreal Engine 5, best ray tracing ever. And you'll be like, oh, fuck yeah. And building all this hype. And then it could just be complete dog shit. Like, we've got some really cool games that are looking really, really sick that are taking advantage of these new technologies, and we're going to probably get some real mediocre games in between. Yep. So it's going to be an interesting year, a lot of fun year. Talking on that, do we segue into gaming news?
I mean, I still haven't even finished going through what I played.
You played? What the fuck?
That's the thing, man. Like, Destiny is just such a huge thing, yeah. I finished playing Evil Within.
Yeah,
the second one, not because it was free on Prime Gaming.
Yeah,
finished playing Sniper Ghost Warriors Contracts, and again,
it was because it was through GOG.
Yeah,
I picked that up actually.
It's worth playing. It's a fun game. But yeah, Ghost Warrior Contracts. Again, the second one, fantastic game, except for the missions that require you to play the game not like a sniper.
Yeah, more stealth and
very, very much a Sniper Ghost Warrior game in that sense, where it's like, what's the point of sniping at long distance when you can always have to be fucking face to face with people?
Yeah.
and a bit of Red Dead. Been playing the
I've seen
story, finishing that off as well as online. And I started playing GTA 4 on PC.
GTA 4? Okay.
GTA 4, because it's been a while since I've played it, and I was like, man, I have it. I bought it. I spent like $14 on it on one of the sales. I should play it. So installed it, gone about 5 hours in, and I'm like, yeah, this game's pretty fun. Now we can segue into news because there's actually news related to GTA.
Go for it.
So right now, if you own GTA 5, do not play that game.
Okay.
Rockstar Services for GTA 5, if you have access to online and have played online in any capacity in the last probably 3 months, I want to say, maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more, there is a very high likelihood someone out there with a mod menu that happens to be in the same server can access your computer.
Really?
Straight up, they'll get access to your IP. They get access to your details for your Rockstar account. So your email, if you've bought the game through there, all that kind of stuff. And there's a chance that they can create a backdoor through the Rockstar network and into your computer.
Has Rockstar said anything about this?
It took them 3 days after people brought it up to make a reply, and their only thing that they've said so far is we're looking into it.
Okay. Classic.
And they've claimed it as a possible breach. Possible.
Okay.
Instead of admitting the fact that it is in fact a real thing that's happening. So
that's not going to look good on them, hey?
No, it's a very bad thing. And apparently other Rockstar games aren't as affected at the moment from what I know. I could be wrong. Yeah. But yeah, if you do play Rockstar games and you play online, rather take a little break from it or just play with caution, use VPNs, make sure you have antivirus with internet protection, all that stuff. I use NordVPN. They have an inbuilt threat protection for online. Very, very useful. Play with VPN, play safe. Don't put yourself at risk just to play video games. They are also possibly manipulating your profile accounts and your player account and can get you banned. That's a fun time thing. So
that's fucked.
Yeah, from what I know and what most people are saying, it's just affecting GTA Online. But again, just play with caution.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's fucked. That is not good news to hear.
No.
Luckily, I have not played it in a while because that game is way too fucking big and does not deserve to be on anyone's fucking hard drive or SSD.
Ain't that the truth?
I joke that it's like 220 gig, but it probably is like 220 gig.
I honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it is. Like, that online mode just keeps getting more and more shit added to it.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's wild.
Yeah, kind of intense, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But yes, news. What you got for us today, bud?
Well, there's actually been a lot. We had Xbox and Bethesda showcase this morning. That was really, really cool. So I got to check out some of that. We had some Redfall gameplay. I'm really excited for that game, as we were just talking about getting hyped for games. Yeah, not super hyped, but Arcane Studios, yeah, like, I'm down for it. It's going to come day one to Game Pass. We got a little bit of, like, gameplay, and we got a date of release. So that will be the 2nd of May, 2023. Been keeping an eye on Redfall for a little bit, so it's cool to see a bit more of an extended gameplay. Running through it all, it pretty much looks like what you'd expect. Will be cool to see if this turns into a bit of a live service game. Not sure. Yeah, so in saying that as well, we had there was actually a really cool game that came out this morning. That was teased. Would you say teased?
Yeah, I'd say probably teased, or little bit of info came out on it.
Yeah, it looks really cool. It's from Tango Gameworks. So as you just said, you played the Evil Within. I don't know if they did the second Evil Within. I know they did the first one. and then they did fuck. Why have I just gone blank? I wanted to play it recently. I spoke about it. Where is it? Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they've just come out with a game that is called Hi-Fi Rush. Literally looks like a mix between Devil May Cry 5, Sunset Overdrive, and there's like a
Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, Jet Set Radio, but more like I saw it on Twitter. Where is it? Let me have a look. Metal Hellsinger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's got the whole rhythm, like it's a rhythm-based game.
Yeah.
That looks really cool. Like, I was very, very surprised about that. The art style looks really sick. Yeah, like, I'm keen to see how that game goes. Knowing that it's coming through Xbox, probably going to be on Xbox Game Pass. But looked like a lot of fun. So I feel like Xbox and Bethesda showcase some probably really strong games coming into 2023. A nice diverse mix. So it's good to see they're confident with what's coming out. And I feel like they'll be fun games as well. In more news, I was talking about it a little bit in my Discord today, but all the shit talk about what's the game? The Day Before?
Maybe?
Yeah, The Day Before. It's the one that we spoke about at the start of the year that is like it's like a fucking The Division meets The Last of Us meets like a crafting survival game. The Day Before. Yeah, there's a lot of drama going on around those guys. If you know the drama, you know what's going on. I'm very torn between it. I feel like it's just a little bit too blown over the top. What's the company's called? I need to just search this quickly.
Fantastic HQ.
Yeah, because they've done one other game, Prop Hunt. I'm pretty sure it's called Prop Hunt.
Prop Night?
Yeah, Prop Night. Pretty sure it's called Prop Night.
I think it's Prop Night.
Yeah, so they've done like other games before, not massive games, but they're looking at releasing The Day Before. There's been controversialness about there's no gameplay that's been properly released. The dev team's just really, like secretive. People don't feel like this game is real. Blah blah blah. It's now being removed from Steam. There's a trademark dispute. I don't know if that's a cover up. There's a lot of just weird shit going on with it. I just feel, like I said, I know they're an indie dev team. I know that they probably got in over their heads a little bit with marketing and hyping the game up, but I don't know why everyone's just shitting on them at the moment. Like, I open up my YouTube and I see, like, this game's a scam. Stay away from this game.
I did see that, and I've just Googled the game itself, and the first article is totally real game.
It's just like, I understand that there's stuff going on. We haven't seen proper gameplay. There's a lot of internal shit going on with the dev team that doesn't seem like it's matching up. But it's like, I was talking in my Discord about it. We've seen shit like this with like AAA studios, and like people don't even blink their eyes. Yeah. Like, it's just like, I don't know if it's because it's quiet and they had hyped this game up a little bit too much themselves. It was sitting one of the most wish list game on Steam. They did do a partnership with NVIDIA recently. So there was a bit of hype, a bit of buzz around it, but people are just been shitting on it. I hope that it goes well for them. I hope the game comes out. I could see this being a bit of a No Man's Sky 2.0. That isn't always a negative thing. It's not a great thing, but you look at No Man's Sky now and what they learned and what happened with them. And I think in the long run that worked out really, really well for that company, and a lot of people learned from it. But I think there was like 5 people working on that game when Sony like funded them, put them on their showcase, made it seem like this big, big thing when it was like bare bones as anything. And then it's taken them years and years and years to get it to where it is. But now it's like a fucking incredible game.
Oh yeah, but like it also is dependent on the studio and the devs and stuff. And making sure that that's what they want from it.
Yeah, but, and that's the thing with this. Like, so many people could be thinking it's a cash grab. They could just ditch the game. Where like No Man's Sky stuck with it. They put so much time and effort into that game, relaunching it, fixing it, to the point where it's, as I said, that game's fucking incredible. So yeah. Apart from that, we've had a couple of games release. Forspoken came out. Mixed reviews with that one. I do want to try and get my hands on it and play a little bit. Knowing me, I'll probably just play 10 hours and then give you guys a bit of a review. We've got a few games coming out that has had some like final previews through IGN. One was Hogwarts Legacy. That kind of looks cool. Kind of keen with that. Still a massive thing is J.K. Rowling. And then a statement from the devs on how they're standing with that. So that came out, I think, today or yesterday. And then apart from that, one that I really want to touch on is if you guys have a chance and you're just looking at a game or you want to see a game that's kind of floated under the radar a little bit, check out Wanted Dead exclusive final preview through IGN. And then have a look at the Wanted Dead official finishes trailer. This game looks sick. It's coming out soon. The preview pretty much speaks to where I'm at with video games at the moment. I feel like we're going to see so many games trying to be like flashy, next gen, big, over the top AAA. They're all going to try and hit certain themes or certain, what would you call it? Certain certain genres, like to fill a genre. It's like Hogwarts Legacy is like that one. Like that game looks fucking beautiful, but it's hitting that certain like RPG, like that certain, you know what you're going to get with that type of game, and they have it like they have it set as that, and it's very flashy. You fly around the world. There'll be like cool little like potion making, learning spells, combat. Like you understand the whole package when you kind of look at it or see a trailer. And I think so many game companies, like big AAA companies, are going to stick with that and try and be really confident with it. You'll just see them stick onto one particular thing, try and smash it, make it look really, really good. Where Wanted Dead is just like, from what I've seen, this game looks fucking sick, man. Looks like a real old school kind of retro 2000s vibe. The player models aren't really over the top. The audio doesn't sync perfectly, but like the amount of love and dedication I've seen and heard from this team looks sick. They're doing a mix between like anime cutscenes, live action cutscenes, in-game cutscenes. They're just mixing it all up. Their finishes look fucking sick. Like I'm pretty excited to play this game. I'll probably wait just to see like a review code, just to see how performance goes. I don't want to buy it day one just because they're a slightly smaller studio. Might wait for a couple of patches and then pick it up. But yeah.
No, that's
I think that one's kind of good to keep on your radar.
Yeah. No,
but,
good.
Yeah, there's been a lot in news, but there's not been a lot in news as well. So, any news coming in from you or?
Couple of things. So there is the Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty expansion.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the most expensive they've ever. Is that what you're
biggest budget they've ever had for any expansion they've ever released. So that's a good sign.
Idris Elba in it, so probably 50% of that went to that, and then the rest.
And also Keanu as well.
Keeping him back in the licensing.
Yeah, but no, it is hopefully a good sign from signs that they've shown from inside the studio. It's also a much healthier environment in the sense of it's not as much into crunch, so that's always a great sign. We don't like seeing any people having to go through time crunch for
The biggest thing with that as well is it has been like 3 years since that game's come out.
Yeah. No.
So hopefully they've really fixed up some bits and pieces. I still stand by that game was great. There wasn't too much on it.
I just want to say we could probably dedicate an entire episode to how much we love that game.
We should probably talk about it when the DLC comes out. I'm so excited. Like I've heard they're remixing up like rumors that they're going to redo sort of like melee combat. They're going to bring in some like new stuff like that. I've heard some really kind of cool, very small bits and pieces of what they're adding and trying to fix in that game that make me super excited to replay through the whole game.
Yes.
Like I really want to just do like a Netrunner build and try and go full stealth. And I've heard that like they're going to redo like how katanas feel. They're going to add like some new animations for finishes, and they're going to try and go through all this. So it should be a pretty fucking big DLC. Like I'm pretty pumped. Like
no, from like gameplay footage, it looks like they've fixed the Mantis Blades animations as well as the finishers and like stealth kills and stuff like that. So like it looks great. So I'm very, very excited for that. The other thing is Justin Roiland has resigned from Squanch Games.
Did he resign or did he get let go?
So from what he said, he has resigned from his position there after being removed by Adult Swim from Rick and Morty's production.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that makes more sense.
Apparently, Rick and Morty will still be getting like another season, but Squanch Games will not have any connection to Justin Roiland from here on. So obviously, he's a piece of shit for what he did. So this is good. Don't beat on your spouses, male or female. That's fucked up. Don't hit anyone. There's no good reason to hit people unless it's for like combat sports where you both know what you're going into. Don't fucking hit each other. Like this. And then I just wanted to say, because there was a game you were speaking of earlier, and that whole like yes, this is a totally real game, just reminded me of do you remember Abandoned?
Yep, I do actually.
There was like a fucking trailer that was made or pre-rendered, and then they made this huge app and they started doing stuff, and they've been
like a survival game,
constantly baiting people into it being like, oh, maybe it's Silent Hill, or oh, maybe we're working with Kojima.
Like a 50-second teaser or something like that from PlayStation, or
and then they released like an app for PlayStation 5 to show you like in-game things, and they released only one video on it that claims that it's being rendered on the PS5, and it's just someone walking off screen, like it's just staring at a floor while someone walks by, and then that's like it. And apparently they've announced that it's being put on indefinite hiatus, like it's never going to be finished. So
it's crazy how that happens.
I just remembered that when that got brought up, I'm like, oh yeah, whatever happened to that? So that's fun.
The thing with the day before as well is like they were claiming originally that they were taken off Steam or delisted from Steam because it was a bug. Then they said that it was because of a copyright claim, that they had not secured the trademark for the name. There was a lot of just weird shit that was going on with it, and now they've just like delayed showing off the game. Like we haven't. Like another thing that I'll talk about, and I'll probably try and bring Josh on as a guest. Josh was the person I was talking to today about the day before. He actually has his own James Bond podcast. He's been playing video games for like a very long time. He's great. We might bring him on as a guest one time. But yeah, it's like most games, when I even think Cyberpunk, when they first showed that first build of Cyberpunk back in the day with the wall running, everything like that was gameplay, but that was pre-rendered gameplay. Like that was a very small slice of the game. They were still very much in development. They literally said like, this is an early build, things could change, like, and they showed what they'd been working on. Certain mechanics that they had, certain mechanics had to disappear, certain mechanics stayed in the game. And we've had that with the day before, but everyone turns around and they go like, this is fake gameplay. This isn't real gameplay. Like, when can we see proper gameplay? Like, it's so hard these days. Like, you want to show people like early what you've got an idea for, but then like to show proper gameplay, like sometimes even a year before you've done the video game, you're changing bits and pieces. Like even 6 months before the game launches, you're changing shit in the game. Like I've heard from smaller dev teams that have released games that are fucking great, that the day before they launched, they were still changing stuff in the game. There was platforms in the game that weren't supposed to be in it, and they were like moving them around. The game literally launched the next day. So it's so hard to show like a proper build of a game that's like, this is the game that you're going to get, because it's probably going to change. There's probably going to be areas. It's hard. We don't create video games. We don't know the process of it all, but we love to just talk about it and like criticize them. So it's just like, come on, guys, give them a little bit of slack where we can. Yeah. But yeah, that fucking Abandoned, I still remember that. They're like Unreal Engine 5 running on PlayStation 5. There was like 20 seconds of like a forest that was just like highly rendered. And I was like, whoa, like this is sick, man. Like, cool. But it's like, you've just shown us 50 seconds of a really, really highly rendered, probably the smallest thing. You've made this in like a 10 kilometer by 10 kilometer map that has nothing around it. Like everything else is just dead pixels. And it was like, yo, like this was, I think it was shown in like 2021 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, Unreal Engine 5, new horror game. And I was like, cool. So I'm kind of surprised that they've just dumped it. They're probably going to rebrand it as a different name and bring it into something completely different and relaunch it like next year.
Just try to completely separate the fact that they ever did that.
Yeah, they always will. It's just how it works.
Nah, I just I just remembered that, and that shit was hilarious to me. So, but yeah, that's pretty much game news, I think.
Yeah, there's not been like a huge amount, but there's been enough to keep us kind of engaged. A lot of trailers dropping. We're going to be getting like a Starfield. I think a Starfield presentation by itself coming up soon. There's going to be a bunch more games coming out in the next couple of months. That's going to be cool to see. A couple of indie games that we'll have to try and keep our eyes on. I don't want them to slip through the cracks. I know there's a few that we've spoken about that should be coming out. So yeah, but apart from that, it's always going to be that type of year, like where it starts. Like there's always a little bit of controversialness coming into a next year. Games getting delayed, companies overpromising with shit like that, games that will probably get moved into 2024, and we're like, fuck, we're upset. But everyone will get over it in a week and be complaining about something else. So
nope,
that's gaming culture for you.
Yup. So Nick,
you
been watching any movies this last week, my dude?
I've actually been watching a lot of movies. Sean, you've been watching any TV shows though recently?
Dude, come to think of it, I have.
Ooh, what
and
have
I
you
gotta
been watching?
say, I could finally give my review on The Last of Us.
Sick. So that means I can give my review? Do we do like half spoiler, half non-spoiler? What's going on?
All right, this is what we're going to do.
It's hard because it's been out for a week. The second episode's been out. Like, I want to talk about the second episode. That was fucking crazy.
I do too.
Oh,
but I want to give 30 seconds, no spoilers from each of us, of first and second episodes, as simple as possible so people can go and experience it. All right?
Yeah.
I'll give mine quickly. It's an amazing show, visually gorgeous. A ton of practical effects. All the digital effects still look great. And overall, the acting, the story, the pacing, everything is just beautiful. They've captured so much and changed things in a perfect way. Like, they've adapted it very, very well. This is, in my opinion, probably one of the best shows based off of any pre-existing story that has already been told in other media.
Sick. 100% agree with everything that Sean just said. All I'm just going to add to that is incredible slow burn. I love it. I love the pacing. I love how it lets you breathe as a viewer as well. There's a lot of area where it's not just action, talking. And I think that's gorgeous in 2023 to see a TV show doing that, mainly on this scale. Visually incredible, story-wise great. And then one thing that I'm going to say, if you're watching on HBO or Binge, that you would be, really, really cool to see after they launched episode 2, they did like a 4-minute breakdown of episode 1. That for people that haven't played the video game or are maybe new to this, gave some really, really interesting insight. Not spoiler insight, but insight on some stuff that maybe as a casual viewer you may not have picked up on. Just a nuance of storytelling, because the storytelling is fucking incredible.
Yes.
But yeah, overall, like, these guys are fucking killing it. Like, they've got something real special up their sleeves that I'm surprised. Like, when I say a slow burn, if you watch episode 2 for like a second time, that episode's like, that's slow, but what they pack into it as well is like crazy. Like, yeah, it's like, I was like blown away. Yeah.
It's been so good, honestly. All right, spoiler time.
Spoiler time.
If you don't want to be spoiled right now, if you live in Australia, go to Binge or Foxtel Go watch both episodes back to back right now. That's 2 hours. And then come back and keep listening. All right?
Cool. We're giving you like 10 seconds to pause and then we're talking.
Yeah.
So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10 seconds. Done. We're now talking.
First episode was fucking sick. Holy shit, dude. Oh my God. Ellie is just fucking like, oh my God. But dude, like real talk, right? The whole scene of them trying to flee the city, fuck me, dude. It was like so perfect. Sick. Dude, so the fucking sick. Cordyceps coming out of the neighbor's mouth for the first time and shit.
Yeah,
it's fucking gross, but amazing. It's so fucking good. Dude, that first episode is what, like an hour and a half as well?
Yeah. Like, very, very good. The visual effects in that episode, crazy as well. Like, so beautiful. Sick. So sick.
Like, oh man.
What did you think of it's Riley? Is it Riley?
Riley, yeah.
Riley's Joel's daughter? Let me just double check that. Last of
Sarah.
Sarah?
It's Sarah. Sarah's the daughter. Joel's daughter.
Yes. Yeah. Did they change it in the show? Did they change the name or something? Why am I thinking Riley? What the fuck?
Show. No, Sarah's the same in the. Sarah should be the same, I think, in the game. Hang on.
I'm just gonna pull up Last of Us show and see. I swear it was. Unless I'm tripping.
Sarah, Last of Us. Give us a sec. Yeah, no, it's Sarah.
It's Sarah?
Sarah's
okay.
the name. Yeah, Sarah's the name of the daughter.
Cool.
Yeah, honestly, I love, instead of trying to, because look, in the game, Joel is a white dude. In the show, it's Pedro Pascal, who is not a white guy, right? So the way that they tried to work around it was by making him and the whole family Latino, which is what he is. He's Chilean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to have the daughter be that as well, and like all of it fit in perfectly, it's so good, man. She's actually really fucking good. She takes very much like center screen of that whole first half of that first episode.
That would, like, hats off to her as an actress. That's going to be such a hard role to do as well, knowing, like, literally knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you've seen the video game, you've read the script, like, watching that first episode, you're literally playing someone that has to, the audience has to get connected to that character.
It's such a short amount of time.
Short amount of period, and then show that connection as well that Joel has. You have to feel that. You have to feel this. You have to see him in a way that you're not going to see him through the rest of the episodes. And then you have to make that flow into when Ali steps onto set. That I think was great. They talked about it in, like I said, it's like a 4-minute thing about episode 1. And this is just going straight into spoilers now. When Sarah dies and gets shot, you can see how upset Joel is. But the biggest thing is before that took place, as Sarah saw Joel kill, is the grandma that comes out of the house for the first time.
Yeah.
She's like terrified and is like crying. She's like, "What the fuck?"
Like, what have you done? Then, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. And then like she dies. Everything's very traumatic. But then at the end of the episode, when you see him beating the guard to death because he's about to do the exact same thing that happened to his daughter, to Ali isn't scared. Ali's like, holy shit, this person is going to like protect me with my life. And it just shows the contrast between like the two different characters. And they talk about that in that little 4-minute behind the scenes. It's great. And it's awesome because some people might not pick up on that. It's like a really nuanced way of like storytelling. It's very subtle, but it's like showing these two different experiences that like I said, some people might pick up on it, some people might not. But ideally he's in the same situation he found himself with his daughter, but now with a complete different stranger, and how he reacts is completely different and how she reacts is completely different. And that's going to kind of probably show what happens through the next episodes and how this relationship forms. And I think that was beyond powerful in storytelling. It was great.
100%.
It's really, really good.
It has been, again, so true to the story, because even in the game, you get an hour max at the start interacting with the daughter. It's barely even that when like everything's happening, right?
Yeah.
But
running through the city and stuff, same type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But like it's just enough that it gives you that kind of connection, and you feel for them, and you feel for her, and you feel for, like, you can tell that there's a relationship, and it's like it's great. And then you can see like just how terrified she is when shit starts going down, and even the like not only fear but just that like will and want to just escape that Joel has as well, that it's like, I just need to protect my daughter. I don't give a fuck about anyone else right now. Like, my daughter is my priority. And you can see it, you can feel it, it's there, and it's just beautiful, man. Like it really is so good. They've done so well.
I was very impressed with that first episode.
Yeah. And then the second episode,
holy
bud, I love the explanation as well, right? So in the game it is explained, but in the game there's spores that help spread it around as well, right? They've removed the spore side, which at first I was a little apprehensive about, but the way that they've just gone and explained it is it still works. I'm still cool with it. Which do I just say it?
Yeah, you can. Like, we're spoiling.
I mean, look, it's basically just zombie shit, right? Like it's just they find out in Jakarta that there's cordyceps that spread through bites and possibly scratches and other things as well. And they grow inside the body and then end up taking over the brain to continue it trying to spread. Yeah, that's basically it, right? So fuck, I lost track of what I was gonna say. Yeah, sorry. So it is really good because it's explaining it but showing you what it is instead of having a character say it. Yeah, right. Like it's always good to show and not just tell someone. In the game, you can kind of tell someone, you don't have to really explain it in that way, because like it's fine, you know, you're experiencing the rest of the story. It doesn't make sense to have the like cutaway, but when you're telling it on screen, it's better to have someone show it than just lore dump in the middle of an episode.
I know it was great because it kept the pacing of that film, that second episode, really, really cool, because it was like a kind of long intro explaining that.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes of it.
Yeah, and it's like the biggest thing is, even though it feels really weird, even though that chick, the main doctor, was on film for like how long? 15 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
I feel like in that short period, how well they get you to start feeling for these characters is really, really impressive.
Yeah.
Even at the end, like, it's not like you're like, oh my God, like, I fucking care for this and want to see, like, her in other episodes. But where she's talking to him is like, we need to start bombing. It's just like, we can't protect this. I've worked in this field my whole life. We've got to bomb this shit. And then right at the end is like, I just want you to take me to my family, because she knows what's about to go down. And when you kind of hear that, you're like, fuck, like, if this is a professional, she knows what's going on. If she's asking to go see her family, she knows that this is probably going to be the last time that she's going to see her family. This is some big, real shit. And then it's kind of that whole thing of that then flows into the biggest thing about the film is that whole connection of family again. And it's like all these people that we see when you go into the second episode is this broken family that are trying to like not want to be friends with each other, but like need to be friends with each other. So it's that another beautiful odd nuance of storytelling of like, right as we get to that end of that 15-minute intro, this lady that we've just seen is like, oh, I just want to go spend time with my family. And then you broke to Joel, has got a gun pointed at Ellie, and he's like, I'm going to fucking kill you because you're infected. And these guys don't want to be friends. They don't want to be family. And then by the end of the episode, it's like, yeah, you know what happens at the end of the episode? It's like,
he ends up
shit,
literally having to drag her out of the fucking state house as the infected Tess goes to blow herself up to wipe out a whole bunch of those fucking clickers.
Yeah, like, it's this whole disconnect of like she's to Tess, like we can't leave her, and she's already got this connection. But Joel's just he's just such a different person. He cares, but he doesn't. He's just like, well, you're my priority now. That's it. Yeah. It's like, it's not even like, and I can't wait to see through the next episodes how it kind of changes, because we're going to see these guys become like more of a father-daughter. But at the moment, it's very much like, you're a job. That's it. Yeah. I want to see my brother. I want to get a car battery. I need to go see my brother, find my brother. I haven't spoken to my brother. You are the reason I can do that.
Yeah.
And
you're just
that's all
a
you are
means
to me.
To an end. Yeah. You are the way that I can see my family, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And it really is that. Like, it's just, oh man, it is really, really good though. Like, I really, really love that.
The clickers, holy.
Oh, dude.
And the whole thing without explaining as well, where if you touch, because talking about how they were getting swarmed, like if you touch part of the fungus, they're all connected, because it's like, not just like a spore, but it's built into their biology. And when he steps on it, and you see like hundreds of them running, like, holy, like, shivers just trying to think about it, man.
Dude, it's that's what I'm saying. It's been one of the best, if not the best adaptation, in my opinion, of any story, from whether it be from game or comic book or whatever, to screen. Yeah. Because there are so many that they try to change the interpretation to make it its own thing, or they try to, but they don't do it well. They end up making everything feel like so alien from the original, while this one has been so true to the original in a way that keeps it from being like completely different and alien, but also it makes it its own thing enough that it feels like its own show. It doesn't feel like it's the story I know, but it's not told exactly the same as I know it, but it's in such a good way that I'm not upset. Like, I'm not fucking breaking down doors like, they ruined my show. Like,
and I think the biggest thing that we kind of touched on last week's episode is like, to do an adaptation, it's really, really hard. And it's like, sometimes when you see stuff, it's like Halo as an example. I didn't really watch that Halo adaptation. I heard mixed things about it, but the biggest thing that people have been running through is the Halo 5 opening cinematic. That shit's fucking crazy. And it's like, certain shows just suit certain styles. Cyberpunk Edge Runners, as an example, suits anime really, really well. I don't see Cyberpunk being a good live action, like in Ghost in the Shell. It's just really hard to get that world portrayed. It's going to be really hard to do those visual effects. It's going to be really hard to make characters look like that. Does that shit work for video games and anime? Fuck yes. Cowboy Bebop. Does that shit work for anime? Could that work for something else? Yeah. Live action, no. And I think that's the hardest thing is sometimes games and adaptations try a little too hard, where The Last of Us suits film very well to a point where, like, some video games that you play them because they're a video game. You watch an anime because it's an anime. It's super hard to transition that, where I feel like The Last of Us suits it. Because, like, one thing that I'm just going to say that's funny as fuck, I found this hilarious. It was like an IGN article. I was scrolling through Instagram or some shit, and it's just like, yo, don't expect much crouching in The Last of Us compared to the game, because you know how, like, most of it you're like crouching down, you're trying to hide from clickers and stuff like that. It is because 50-year-olds find it hard to crouch. And I was like, that's the thing. Like, you've got to be asking this dude who's like a real human to try and be crouched and walking for like a long period of times, like 15, 20 minutes. I would even struggle doing that. How do you expect like a 50-year-old to do it? But in a video game, that it's fine. It's a fucking fictional character. Like, so it's like certain things like that you hear that you kind of joke about is like, you have to think about that when you're putting it on screen. And it's like, like I said, I feel like The Last of Us just suits it really, really well. There's a lot of adaptations that I think just try a little bit too hard to step away from that type of stuff. Where everything that I've seen, like I said, I haven't played The Last of Us in a hot minute. I've only ever watched it. I can't wait to play it when it comes to PC. It suits it really, really well. The setting, visual effects, practical effects, you name it, seems very grounded. And I feel like the game as itself, when it came out, was very grounded in a kind of realistic setting that it suits well for film.
Yeah. Going back to that point quickly, though, I feel like any anime or any anime and any like game or story, book, whatever, can be done well, but it needs to be respected by the people who are adapting it. It can't be, because a great example is The Witcher. The Witcher is currently being made by people that don't like The Witcher. And you can't do that when it's an adaptation. It's it's a thing of, especially with games, going back to like Halo and Halo 2, Halo 3, even Halo 4 were all made by people that respected and loved that series, and they tried their best to make more of it, right? But when you have the TV show was not made by people that respected it the same way. They don't give a shit. For them, it's an IP that they can use to make money. And too many people look at shows and things like that as that. They see it as a means to do. So instead of keeping things true to form, keeping things, respectful of the characters, of the story, of all that, and understanding why characters are the way that they are, like, if you don't do that, then it's going to fail. No matter what you do, no matter how much money you throw at it. James Cameron can put $2 billion into trying to make a perfect, fucking Cowboy Bebop or Black Lagoon or some shit. And it will still suck if he doesn't care and doesn't respect the series and what it is and the characters in it and why the characters do what they do. And 100%. That's 100%. The thing that this show seems to have, is the people that are adapting it for screen care about the story, care about telling it properly, care about telling it the way they want to tell it, but doing it with respect to the original story.
And I think the biggest thing is having like Neil as well on it. Like, he's such a pivotal person as well, of like, he won't want to see this destroyed. It's like his baby. So having him as a director there, having him working with them, like, you can see that as well. Like, you can see that the love, but it's just hard because there's definitely certain times where I'm like now that we're like 2023, VFX has come a long way, as we've seen in Avatar 2. There is a lot easier ways to kind of do visual effects / practical effects. Practical effects are always fucking sick. It's just weird. Like, sometimes it's like, to try and create a world fully digitally, or like half like realistic or digitally as well, it's like you got to try and find that balance. And I feel like that's where sometimes video game adaptations or anything anime adaptations struggle, where The Last of Us has just nailed it. Like visually as well, like it feels like a real world. It feels it feels great when you're looking at that, but then all the practical works well. Like the setting's great, the characters are great. Yeah, everything just fits. They don't have to I don't know, it's hard. Like it's hard to explain what I'm trying to say, but it's just like these guys, like The Last of Us suits film very well. Even the pacing of it all. Like I loved episode 2, but like my mum was sitting there at points of it and she was just kind of like, you could kind of see her head or fingers tumbling, like trying to why is it taking so long? Like it was because it was kind of a slow episode if you rewatch it. Like there was not a huge amount going on, but there was a lot of times where it was quiet bits and decent music coming through and just that setting and like walking through and doing all this, and then you'd have a bit of an action set piece and then back to doing more quietish stuff. It was really good, really, really good.
Yeah,
and I love films that do that, and I'm not afraid to use silence.
Yeah, I feel like silence is just as important as speaking lines. Like trying to portray the environment, the story, the everything from it is just as important to have moments where characters just don't talk. Like you should be able to portray what someone is thinking with something as simple as just a look. Yeah, you know, and I think just too many people ignore that or don't want to pay attention to it or don't care, and it is sad, but it is what it is. And like I said, if people don't want to respect the IP, it's never going to be told properly. It's never going to have the approval of the fans. It's never going to have the staying power that it could. Yeah. But this seems to be the truth, that you can make any game, or at least you can make a game that has a good story, into a movie or a show and it work. Yeah. It's only been 2 episodes. Obviously, there's still a lot to come. Who knows how it'll go from here. But in just 2 episodes, man, I went from having doubts, thinking that the show might suck, to fucking recommending it to everyone that I know to go watch the show. Like, seriously, it is really, really good. And it makes me very happy to see, because it deserves it. It really does. Like, I love Pedro Pascal. And I will support him in fucking anything, but it is also, you know, a scary thing to see something like a series that you love get made into a show, when you know that every other series that you love that has been made into shows have just sucked. Yeah. So, but
we've been banned. So
way too many times. Way too many times. Like, I love the Witcher series. The books drag on, but I still love them, and I love the games. The games are fantastic, but that show was hell for me to watch, man. It really was.
Yeah, there's been a lot of times where I've just like, you've watched it and shit, I'm like, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
So, but in other words, because that was like 20 odd minutes of just fucking Last of Us, has there been much else? Have you been watching much else? What else has been going on in films?
Yeah, so, I mean, me personally, I've been watching a lot of older stuff. I recently went back to rewatch all the Naked Gun series. And
okay. I don't even know what that series is. So
it's Leslie Nielsen. Really, really funny show. Very well worth a watch if you enjoy parody comedy. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's well done. It's made with a lot of understanding of why those things are funny when parodied, as opposed to, I don't know, like, what's that show? Oh, that movie. Sorry, Meet the Spartans or some shit, where it's just like fucking stupid humor.
Yeah. Okay.
This one is like really, really well done, because they understand why those things are cartoonish and over the top. So it's great. It's great, funny movies. I love them.
The others I've been watching. Watch The Menu. Fantastic movie.
I want
I've
to watch
showed
that.
all my family at least once. I've seen it 3 times now.
Really, I want to watch it. I've heard such good things about it.
Great movie. It's okay. The best way I can explain it is a dark comedy.
Yeah,
because they say that it's like a horror thriller. It's not really. Like, it takes you by surprise at certain moments, but it's like, it's good. And it's one of those movies that I wouldn't actually spoil because its enjoyment comes from experiencing those things while watching it, if you get what I'm saying. Like, it's not just knowing about what happens, it's actually experiencing how it happens and seeing the characters' reactions and everything. And it still does hit some tropes and still does do some dumb shit, but like, it's great. It is really, really good. But yeah, other than that, I've been just probably 3 more movies and then a shit ton of YouTube.
Yeah, I would watch way too much YouTube. I've been watching a bunch of just kind of like Amazon Prime stuff. So yeah, nothing too crazy. I finished Ginny and Georgia. Fucking love that. Really, really good. Cannot wait for that to kick back up. But like, yeah, I've been watching, like, it sounds bad, like I've been rewatching The Boys, just a bunch of stuff. I need to get back into the Lord of the Rings, or the Lord of the Rings, The Wings of Power. But I've just got my Prime kind of back because I thought that it would be on Prime, The Last of Us, and I had Prime membership and I've kind of had it on and off, but it was on HBO, like Binge. That's Binge or HBO for us. Yeah. So yeah, I've been like, fuck, I forgot that I had Prime, so I've been going through and just catching up on their type of stuff. Yeah. Couple of originals. I
recommend Reacher.
Good. Yeah, I haven't actually watched that yet.
Very good.
Or Jack Ryan. Have not watched that either.
I haven't seen Jack Ryan. I've only seen Reacher.
Supposedly Reacher's really
Jack
good.
Ryan, apparently Jack Reacher's really good. Yeah, not Jack Reacher. Jack Ryan is really good. Reacher is really good. I really, really like it. Yeah. It's not a super long series, but it's like a really good series.
Yeah. Apart from that, I started watching Chasing Waves as well on Disney. That was really, really good. I only watched the first episode. Set it up really, really well. I love docos. Yeah, so that one, to me, it's a surfing documentary, if you guys don't know about it, about Japan going into surfing. Was really, really cool. I've always loved that. I want to head over to Japan this year. But yeah, dude, I'm so excited. It's been pretty chill. I do want to watch Puss in Boots before it leaves cinemas. That's probably about it. I want to go see that at Hoyt's at some point. Go and see that before it leaves. Because I've heard great things about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Sitting on like a fucking, what's that Rotten Tomato for that thing? I want to check its Rotten Tomatoes quickly. I've heard like crazy things about this.
Yeah, I keep hearing really good things about it.
Everyone's been going crazy about it. It's sitting at a 95% for really reviews, and then audience reviews 94%. Like it's up there. I've heard just real positive things. So I kind of want to catch that before it leaves cinemas. We're just going to end it on this last note because it's kind of going to go with the whole how we finish the podcast, going fuck off and fuck you and fuck that and all the fuckings. GG James Cameron, you did it. 3 films, $2 billion, or over $2 billion. Yeah, you fucking piece of shit. You little bastard. Congratulations. Yeah. Claps all around, everyone. Clap for James
for that, man. He fucking kept re-releasing the same goddamn thing over and over and over.
It's pretty wild. I know that film's been in fucking cinemas for like 7 months or whatever, but pretty wild to see it break 2 billion. I don't think anyone expected it to. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go and watch it. It is kind of worth it. The visuals are incredible. The storytelling is beyond average. mainly after we've just spoken about The Last of Us, it's like, yeah, like completely different, but the storytelling from The Last of Us is incredible. Like I just said, the parts of silence and how they're like going about it and letting like the viewer kind of pick up on these little bits and like feeding it to you slowly, incredible. The fucking Avatar treats you like a 5-year-old that needs their hand held in the most basic fucking story ever. Yep. Just like so predictable, but visually stunning. But yeah, congratulations, you fucking little piece of shit. You got your 2 billion. You got 3 films and 2 billion. Like I said, he's re-releasing Titanic, so that's probably going to take over second spot. And he'll probably re-release Avatar a couple of different times, and he'll do his shit to get it up to where he wants to. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, just like James Cameron, if you're still here, fuck off.
Yeah, fuck you, James Cameron. Fuck you.
But no, so yeah, I hope everyone's had a good week. I hope you guys have been watching some great films. If you guys have been watching The Last of Us as well, please let us know. Sean will give out his socials.
Titan Z everywhere you can look.
And
the Titan Z. I just want to clear.
Have we figured out if we're gonna set up a Discord for this little sucker?
I might. We'll see. But otherwise, just socials. Hit us up. I might make a Instagram or something, for Twitter or something for this podcast. You guys can speak to us there as well.
We're chilling in the moment.
Probably in the next episode or something. Yeah. But other than that, fuck off, guys. Go do some other shit. Go play some games.
Go play some video games. Go fucking play. Go watch a couple movies. Go watch The Last of Us if you haven't. If you've listened to all that and you still haven't watched it, awesome.
All right.
Go for it.
Bye.
Bye.